Hello, and thank you for joining the International Jurist virtual event discussing what makes a great LLM program, how to choose, and admissions advice. We have 6 participating law school sponsors here today to share information about their law school LLM programs and offer their expert advice to you on the many questions you likely have. They are the University of Cincinnati College of Law, University of Houston Law Center, University of Minnesota Law School, Stetson University College of Law, University of Pacific McGeorge School of Law, Brooklyn Law School, and Widener University Delaware Law School. Our next digital issue of the National Jurist magazine will be available June 6th. If you don't already receive this, please be sure to sign up for the International Jurist e-newsletter by visiting nationaljurist.com. Please feel free to send questions via the chat box at any time throughout each of these 2 sessions, and we'll get to answer those questions during the session or at a timing when we have a Q&A at the end. Our first session covers what makes a great LLM program and how to choose. And joining this discussion is Nora, Karen, Hannah, and Margaret, and we will bring them on stage here. And we'll spend, each of them will introduce themselves and a little bit about their law school and their programs. And then we're going to get into a Q&A with some of the questions and a brief chat about some of the questions you likely have about choosing a program. And let's start with Nora.
Well, hello, everyone. It's good to be with you all. My name is Nora Burke-Wagner. I'm the Assistant Dean for International and Graduate Programs here at the University of Cincinnati College of Law. I do a number of different things as part of my job, but the favorite part of my job is that I serve as the academic advisor for all of our LLM students and oversee that program. And Michelle, are we going to then separately look at share our slides?
Yes.
Okay.
We are just waiting for the screen share.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
All right, so by way of context, let me just share a little bit about our city, our university, and our law faculty. The city of Cincinnati is a major Midwestern city located on the border between Ohio and Kentucky. We have a thriving downtown. Some of those tall skyscrapers are the top floors are full of some of our big law firms. And so, you know, the city has just about everything that you could imagine a U.S. city would have to offer in terms of a fabulous art museum, opera, symphony, and professional sports teams. The university is a Carnegie-won institution. So it's a comprehensive research university with about 50,000 students. You typically about 4,000 international students every year. The university is known for being one of the leaders in experiential learning. So that's learning outside of the classroom. And within then the university community, the law school is sort of it has its own learning community where everything happens in that beautiful, if you can see the second photo there is our brand new law school building. All of our classes take place in that building. We have about 350 to 400 students working together every year. And what works really well about our LLM program that you should know is one, I'll talk a little bit more later about the various experiential learning opportunities, clinics, centers, and internships. Our LLM students study side by side their JD student counterparts. So there's no separation here between students in the various degree programs. And the last thing is, I do think is important in terms of accessibility is that we have one of the lower tuition rates at a law school in the US.
Thank you, Nora. And I think that the next one is University of Minnesota. So it's Hannah.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Logan. I'm the Assistant Director of International Programs at the University of Minnesota Law School. I've got 3 pictures there, our law school, our beautiful city. We're just to the left of that center photo, and then a little map so you can picture where we are in the United States. We're in a metropolitan area of about 3 million people. Very medium-sized, very medium affordable cost of living. The University of Minnesota has about 50,000 students total. We are a Big Ten university, which means great college athletics. It means amazing research opportunities and chances to collaborate with people outside of the law school as well. If you like professional sports, we've got 8 professional sports teams, including the reigning women's hockey champion, the Frost. Thank you very much. And we've got 16 Fortune 500 companies, so a lot of opportunities to network and learn from people doing great work in the field. Like I said, a very affordable cost of living. With the university being so big, there are many, many options for housing for students all across the Twin Cities, whether that's something maybe a little more expensive right across the street from the law school in case you don't want to walk far in the winter, or something a little more affordable in the suburbs. You can guess based on our geography that we've got 4 seasons. The winter does get quite cold, but the summer does get quite hot as well. I can talk about this more later, but we have lots of events and different things to help students prepare for the winter if they need that extra support. As far as our academic programs go, we have very generous scholarships. Oh, my slide's leaving. We have very generous scholarships. We've got a really cool summer pre-LLM legal English summer series of many courses to help you feel more prepared and confident in your legal English and law school skills. All of our classes are integrated with both JDs, and LLMs in the same classroom, which provides a really rich learning environment for everybody. We have a lot of practical experiences for all of our students. And if you do the general LLM, you can choose from one of 12 concentrations if you want to really specialize in an area of the law. I look forward to being here. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to sharing more later.
Thank you, Hannah. And then next we have University of Houston Law Center, Karen Jones.
Yes, hello, I'm Karen Jones. I'm the Executive Director of Global and Graduate Programs at the University of Houston Law Center. University of Houston is a Carnegie One research university in the center of Houston, Texas. Houston is the 4th largest city in the country. We have major sports teams, wonderful restaurants, any cuisine that you can imagine. We also are the most diverse city in the country. And there is representation, similar representation on the University of Houston campus. Our campus has 46,000 students across 4 campuses. The main campus, which is located just a couple of miles from the center of the city, downtown Houston, on campus, it is a very international campus. Our law school, we have 5 LL.M. concentrations in international law, tax law, health law, intellectual property and information law, energy, environment, and natural resources law. And then we also have a special program in U.S. law for our foreign lawyers. Those foreign lawyers, international lawyers, where their first law degree is outside of the U.S. It is a program where we also offer a lot of things that I think we're going to talk about in just a moment, and that I've put into kind of a checklist. We have the specializations that I just mentioned, expertise in faculty, a wonderful reputation, not only in Texas, but around the country and even in various parts of the world. There's a wonderful career development and networking opportunities through our huge alumni network. There's also that international focus, and the location is one that's very conducive to studying. And behind me, you can see our relatively still new law building, the John M. O'Quinn Law Building. And the law school environment that allows you to do things like active learning while you're on a treadmill or a bicycle, a stationary bicycle. You can be doing your work in our two-story library. There's also wonderful support services, flexible programming. You can take some classes that are offered online. And then special programs, conferences, seminars, symposium. So there's wonderful opportunities for learning, also clinics and internships that are also options for our students. So lots to offer here at the University of Houston Law Center. And we're also recognized as one of the top budget programs in the country.
Thank you, Karen. And then next, we have Margaret at Stetson Law.
All right, thank you for having me here today. So my name is Margaret Beckoven. I am our Director of LL.M and Graduate Enrollment at Stetson University College of Law. We are a private university located in Florida, and the law school campus is actually standalone from the rest of the university. So our Stetson Law campus is located in the Tampa Bay area, and we actually have two separate campuses, one downtown Tampa and one in Gulfport, which is right next to St. Pete. So we're right on that west coast of Florida, right on the Gulf, about 10 minutes from beaches. So in between classes and studying, you can get a nice little break and get away. Beautiful palm tree lined campus. Kind of helps the study stress a little bit. But we do offer a variety of LL.M options, specifically for our LL.M in international law. We have different curriculum options that we help guide you to choose based on what your career goal is. So whether that be U.S. bar focused, doing a pathway to the JD, public or private practice, we have a variety of options just so we can cater to helping you meet your end goal. And all of our students are scholarship eligible. The team that we have here at Stetson Law is dedicated to the students from the time for filling out your application all the way through commencement, working with our Office of Professional Development to help you place your jobs, go on to your next steps, whatever that may be. We are a medium-sized law school. We have about 1,000 students. So not too big, not too small. You still get all the focus that you need, but you don't feel like we're so tiny that every little bit of focus is just on you. So I look forward to the conversations that we have throughout the panel today and getting to know you all and helping guide you through this process.
Great, thank you. Okay, now I want to get into some of the questions and then your guys' insight and advice for the prospective LL.M students. And the first one being, what are some examples of what makes a great LL.M program? And if anybody just wants to kick off and then leave opportunity for others to jump in, wanting to highlight here what are the key things that makes a great program? Anybody want to start? Oh, Karen, I think you're muted. Oh, there you go. You're good.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes. Now, so really, I think there are a lot of things to take into consideration when you're looking at a program and what will actually make that program a good program for you. On my slide, I mentioned a checklist, and that's, I think, a good place to start, is looking at some of those key points. One is specialization and curriculum. You want a good program is going to have a concentration or a specialization or a focus that is in line with what it is that you want to do. So specialization or curriculum is very important, and also the curriculum offerings. But you want to make sure that the program has a broad array of courses available in any particular concentration or focus. Because you want to be able to get a full education around a particular topic of your interest, and especially in an LLM program, because that's the whole goal of getting a master's education, is to be able to go really deeply into a particular area or focus. So one of the points that I would raise would be specialization, curriculum, and of course the faculty expertise needs to be there as well.
Thank you, Karen. Anybody else want to jump in with some other examples?
Sure. I can. I'm sure we have a lot to say. All have a lot to say about this. Just building up of what Karen said, I think then, in addition to the academics, think about whether or not there are specific opportunities that exist at various schools, and then make sure that they are in fact open to LLM students.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then as long as they're open to LLM students, you know you're pretty good. But ask that question, because that can vary school to school. Mm-hmm. So you want to look, some students might choose Cincinnati sometimes because of our, just for example, and I think others could probably give you these examples too, but because we have a very special criminal law program, we have one of the largest innocence projects. We also have a corporate law center that is bringing in some of the leading corporate law lawyers and also, CEOs and executives for interaction with students. I could go on and on, but looking for those special opportunities that match your particular interest area, I think is a great thing to focus on. And then you can always even ask to get in touch with the faculty or the professionals who are running those programs, and that will give you a sense of what could be available to you in your year. The LLM year, the 9 months goes by so fast that that's my number one piece of advice, is to scan for those special opportunities before you even make a decision.
Yeah, if I could add too, I think the academic part and what happens inside the law school is really important, but you're also a whole person. You're not only your degree. So finding that sense of community, what do the law schools that are on your list, what do they do to build community? Are you available, or are you eligible as an LLM to join student organizations like Nora was talking about? What is orientation like? How do they help you get acclimated to the climate, the campus, this new way of life in perhaps one of the biggest cities in the country? Do they help you? For example, we take a field trip to the Mall of America to buy winter clothing every year. We host a specific 3-week 2-credit orientation course that's a foundation to the U.S. law. We host a specific graduation luncheon celebration at the end of the year just for our cohort. We really want our students to feel like they are part of the Minnesota law community and have all sorts of events throughout the year to help with that. So I think that's important for prospective students to think about as well. Outside the classroom, outside of the academics, there has to be a balance.
Mm-hmm. I agree with all of that. Of course, we all advise our students on very similar things. One final thing I would add to that too, along with the balance of your lifestyle, is knowing what programs you're looking for, if they offer full-time or part-time options, and what those requirements are in terms of time that you have to graduate, what the course scheduling looks like, if it's only in the evening, if it's all day long, if you have a family or a parent you're caring for, you're working a job, anything like that. Really making sure you look at the way that the programs are designed so that it can fit with your lifestyle and your needs and priorities as well.
Great. Any other comments
Yes, actually, if I might, because there, I think the other thing, yes, everything that has been stated so far is very important, but also remember career development. Career development is essential, and it's really important that you engage with career development early, as soon as you enroll in any program. But you want to make sure that the Career Development Office is robust and that they have special attention that they provide for LLM students. I know at the University of Houston Law Center, we have a dedicated counselor specifically for our LLM students. And once you graduate from University of Houston Law Center, you can utilize the Career Development Office for life. So even if you return 10 years, or decide to make a career change 10 years from now, you can utilize the Career Development Office. So make sure that any program that you're looking at can, yes, provide you with, helping you find jobs, helping you with interviewing, with your resume, all of that, but also that it's really going to give you that individual specialized attention that each LLM student really deserves and needs.
And then looking at, selecting an LLM program can be challenging. And we kind of went through here things to consider, what makes a great program. What are most students asking you guys about when you have like either informational sessions, or like what are a lot of the questions like this audience already asks often? Is there anything else than what's been covered, just that you just covered now? Feel free, whoever. Hannah?
I can jump in if you want. I get the most questions about cost. And I think there are a lot of different factors to look at when you look at law schools, things like specializations, like Karen mentioned, and ranking and cost and all of that. But it really is a whole formula. It's a whole equation of what the cost actually is. What you see on the website as far as tuition and fees, plus the living costs, like it's not just the sticker price, is what we say. So you'll want to take into account what the tuition costs are, of course, and the required fees and insurance and all of that. The cost of living is really important to think about as well. It varies a lot. Generally, the bigger the city, the more expensive, but also maybe they have on-campus living options for law students that maybe some smaller towns wouldn't have. You need to think about the scholarship options and if you can negotiate that at all, if it's automatic or you need to apply separately. And then it's extremely rare, correct me if I'm wrong, colleagues, it's extremely, extremely rare for any law school to be able to provide a full tuition scholarship. We don't have the budget for that. I assume most of my colleagues are nodding because they're in the same boat. So you'll need to think about other sources of funding, whether that's Education USA, some sort of Fulbright type grant, or some sort of nonprofit. I know there's some organizations in Minnesota that have collaborations with different countries, and they have funding for Norwegian students, for example, and really getting creative about how to fund your studies. So I think my answer would be most students ask about the cost, and it really is a big question and a pretty long equation to figure out what it actually costs and how you're going to cover that.
I agree completely with Hannah. It is the number one question, and it would be mine too. This is a huge undertaking and a big investment. The last thing I would add to what Hannah said is just be mindful that as you're working through this equation and gathering the information, that you keep your eye on the bottom line. So in other words, the tuition price tags at schools will be very different from one another. Likewise, when you receive you may be fortunate enough to receive a letter that says from a school that says you have been awarded a scholarship, which is a tuition reduction, like a coupon, of a certain amount of dollars. Another school might give you a scholarship, and the scholarship is smaller. But depending on the tuition starting point, your bottom line is going to be very different. So don't get distracted by the size of the scholarship. Do the math and keep your eye on the bottom line. because, you know, we do hear stories of students being surprised or disappointed. So keep your eye on the bottom line. And while you're going through that process, hopefully you're working with any of our schools, I'm sure, and any school out there, you know, hopefully you'll be working with someone like us or our colleagues who will help you walk through that, so that you know that you're taking all of the costs into account. And as long as you know that you have somebody who's helping you at that stage, that's probably a good sign that you're going to have somebody helping you throughout your time with that university.
Okay. Karen, did you have a comment?
Yes, I think those are all great points. Just a couple of things to add in addition to that. The other thing to consider, I know in Texas, we have an in-state tuition waiver. So if you receive any degree of scholarship money or a certain degree of scholarship money, then you would also receive the in-state tuition waiver that can reduce the cost of tuition significantly. So that is something else to keep in mind. A waiver is like a scholarship. It's reducing the amount of tuition. So wherever that's available, be aware of that. And then also, absolutely agree with regards to cost of living. It's the total cost of you attending, not just the tuition. It's also how much is it going to cost for you to live in that city or in that place. And so yes, absolutely taking into consideration your total cost for attending a particular university in a particular city, and recognizing those cities like Houston that has a lower cost of living, even though we are a major city.
I don't know if Margaret has something. I have one other thought.
I have a thought on a different common question. So if yours is related to cost and tuition and everything, you go first.
Nope, go ahead, Margaret.
Okay. So I, on top of the tuition and everything, another very common question I get is will your program allow me to sit for the US bar exam? And that is a career goal oriented question, right? So choosing a program that's right for you. If your goal is to sit for a US bar exam, you need to make sure you're talking to the team at whatever law schools you're talking to and their programs to see what is their curriculum going to make you eligible for. The United States, every state has different requirements, state by state, for eligibility to sit for the bar exam. So it can get a little complicated depending on how many schools you're talking to, which states they're in. So really just making sure you take the time to learn the specific programs and schools and what their bar eligibility requirements are if you do complete one of their LLM programs is really important, so that you're not finishing a LLM degree that might not make you eligible, and then you have to do something extra, which then adds to the finances, the time frame, everything like that. Example of this, the state of Florida, where Stetson Law is located, does not recognize an LLM to directly sit for the US bar exam. So we've designed our curriculum to meet New York State's bar requirements. So we do have a curriculum that prepares students for a US bar exam. It's specifically for the state of New York because our own state doesn't recognize it. So just making sure you really do your research and ask those questions to the schools and programs to make sure your end goal is being met.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments around or additional questions, Nora?
Yeah. One last thought. If I were in your shoes, if I were looking for an LLM program, I would want to talk to either current students of each program you're considering or their graduates. So you can always ask the folks who are running admissions at each school to put you in touch with a current student or a graduate. they can tell you things that we might not think to tell you. You can ask them, how was it going out and networking in that particular city? Or what kinds of opportunities did you have to observe at the courthouse? Maybe it's some of our schools, including the University of Cincinnati, we have a lot of our LLM students who are spending a whole semester doing an internship in one of our courthouses. Finding out what the feel is like on the campus. What's a Saturday like? Is there football? Do people go? Those kinds of, where should I live? Talk to students or graduates.
Perfect. I did want to note about, so another question that I had, and I think maybe just Margaret might have a comment. So I wanted to just note about different things to consider if choosing an online LLM program, and what are they? I know we cover this in International Jurist. Several of law schools have online LLM programs. Margaret, is there anything you wanted to, I think, are you the only on this panel right now that has online LLM? Oh, you do, Karen? Okay. Is there anything
also
either of you want to note about choosing that versus like what are the reasons why, and if you should consider online or in person?
I know for Stetson's program, so we have an online LLM in elder law and an online LLM in advocacy. So typically the reasons students would choose those programs is because they are category specific, right? You are interested in either learning more about elder law, trusts and estates, disability, everything like that that falls within elder law and elder justice. You can choose that LLM, and it is a fully online program. Advocacy, Stetson is #1 in advocacy, so it is what we are most well known for, is preparing our students and attorneys for the practice of law, for their courtroom skills, for litigation. So students that are really looking to enhance those skills, a lot of times students that go into that program are students who didn't have as many opportunities maybe during their law degree to participate in trial advocacy, moot court, those types of things. So they're looking for an additional experience and knowledge on that. So those are our online programs. If you are looking to sit for the U.S. bar, though, those programs do not make you eligible to sit for the U.S. bar. So going back to what I had said in my previous comment, making sure that that end goal for what you want to get out of your career and your next steps is met. Some online programs do not allow you to sit for the U.S. bar. I believe most do not allow you to sit for the bar.
Yes. Well, and with the at the University of Houston Law Center, and let me clarify, we do not have a fully online program. Certainly for, well, we do have opportunities for our U.S. trained lawyers to take our programs fully online, with the possibility of having to come into the law center if they have an in-person final examination. So that's the small caveat for our U.S. lawyers. For our international lawyers or foreign trained lawyers, we do have now the opportunity for our foreign trained lawyers to take some classes online. They cannot do the full program online, but we have worked directly with the Texas Board of Law Examiners and allowing foreign lawyers to take classes online and still help them meet the requirements to be eligible to sit for the Texas bar exam. Our program is specifically designed to help foreign lawyers meet the eligibility requirements to sit for the Texas bar exam. And we do have many of our foreign lawyers that also sit for other bar exams, like the New York bar exam as well. So, so some classes can be taken online. If you are, of course, a U.S. trained lawyer, you can do the program online.
Thanks, Karen. Anybody else have anything they wanted to note about online before we move on to one of our last questions, and then we'll get to maybe some of these that are in the chat. The last question that I had was, and Nora kind of brought this up briefly about, does your law school hold information sessions in person and virtually? And do you think these are important to ask for prospective students to ask about? And how can it help in the process? Anybody want to take that first? Karen?
I'm happy to address that first. So information sessions, yes, we offer a lot of information sessions. We have specific information sessions that we set up for foreign trained lawyers. We have multiple information sessions that we offer each month. And those information sessions, we strongly encourage prospective students to take advantage of those sessions. You can talk directly one-on-one with our LL.M admissions office. You can get any question that you have answered. If you are in an information session and and you have a question that's very specific to you, then we will take you offline and schedule one-on-one time. So information sessions are very important. I strongly encourage you to take advantage of the opportunity to engage in those sessions, because that's when you can get all of those very specific questions that you have answered. Excuse me, sorry. And also, you can also start to get more information directly from the school that you're interested in, and you start getting a feel for what the school is like and the people that you'll be interacting with. So I strongly encourage you to take advantage of them.
I would love to go next. I echo exactly what Karen said. I think information sessions are the best way to get details about a program directly from the source. It's a chance for us admissions representatives to get to know you and for you to get to know us. Who are the staff at this school? How do they present themselves? What do they think is important to tell you? That tells you a lot about the school. I also think that many of us travel around the world to meet with students in person and do recruitment events and information sessions that way. Many times we have alumni who are from that city, that region, join us at these information sessions to help give you their perspective. Like we talked about earlier, they've done this probably recently. They know exactly what it's like to be from Beijing or wherever in Minneapolis doing the LL.M program and can share their really invaluable experience. I was just in Beijing, so I was thinking about it last month and was able to host an information session for prospective and admitted students. And I had 3 alumni doing a panel kind of like this, and students, in the audience were able to ask their questions. And I heard from some afterward that they're glad they were there with other prospective students who asked questions that they hadn't thought of yet, but were really glad to know that information. So I think events like this are really important. Like Karen said, you can ask your questions and you can hear questions from people who have something different that they're wondering about that you can also learn from.
Thank you. Did Margaret or Nora, did you have any additional comments to that you want to make?
I was going to say, if you're local in the United States to any of the schools that you are looking at, any school I'm ever aware of is more than happy to welcome you onto campus, show you a tour, introduce you to some of the current students, whether they be from the LL.M program you're looking at or a specialty area that you're looking at studying in. So if you are local and able to go visit the schools that you're looking at, by all means, reach out to the teams there. I know at Stetson, we're more than happy to welcome prospective students onto campus so that you can get a feel. You can see what it's like to walk between classes, to interact with other students on campus, that sort of thing.
Great. I see some of you have answered the question. There was regarding English proficiency requirements in the chat about what's accepted. So I see that most all of you replied to that. But any just closing, I just want to grab the opportunity, any closing thoughts from each of you in regards to this, and just anything you wanted to say in closing. Karen, you want to start? Well, we can't hear you.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay.
There we go.
So yes, so I just want to say that finding the right LLM program is very personal, and it's very personal to each individual. And so, and I know that students that come to our school or any program, there's a host of things that that you have to consider, not just relative to the school that you're interested in attending, but also in your personal life, with family and your work situation. So all of that is really part of the equation in determining what program is really going to be best for you. And it's really important that you do the research. You really understand what you're embarking on, and not just the timing of the program and what's involved in the program, but also those other things that are going to be important even after you finish the program, like career development, like career opportunities, like where you want to ultimately end up, and whether or not that city, that environment is going to be one that is conducive to your professional goals, professional and personal goals. So so it's very important that you take the time, do the research, and really get to know the school and the program that you're interested in.
Thank you, Karen.
I can go next. My parting words would just be echoing what Karen said about doing your research, and please do not hesitate. I know Nora and I both put our email addresses in the chat. Reach out to us if you have any questions. Like we talked about earlier, hearing directly from current students or recent graduates is a great opportunity. Feel free to ask us to connect you with them. That's really an invaluable way, I think, to learn about what a program is and whether or not it might be right for you. Not every program is the right fit for every student, and we are not going to take that personally. We don't want you to enroll in our school and then be miserable the whole time. So we are our colleagues. If you say that you really want to work for P&G someday, I'll probably send you to Cincinnati, for example. So we are here to help. We want you to find the best fit for you, whether that's with us or not. So please ask us questions, ask us for connections. However we can help, we will.
Thanks, Hannah. Margaret?
There it goes. Mine has a delay too when I try to unmute. So just, yeah, to echo all of that, the same thing. We are more than happy to work with you one-on-one. I dropped my email and our website in the chat as well. So please reach out to me. I'm happy to chat over the phone, email, a Zoom call, connect you with our students or alumni, whatever is most comfortable for you. So I look forward to hearing from some of you and hopefully helping you find your right path.
Thank you. Nora?
My last thing would be find a school that you think you will love, and make sure that that's a school that loves you back. And that sounds cheesy, but in other words, when you have people like my counterparts here who are taking time out of their day to be here and to be so well prepared and, try to answer all your questions that they think you might have, these are people who are going to help you out along the way. And it shows you that their schools really truly value their LLM students and treasure having you as part of their learning community.
Thank you, Nora. And thank you guys all for participating. We're going to now take a 15-minute break, and then we'll be back at 12 p.m. Eastern for the second session on LLM admissions advice. Thank you, Karen, Hannah, Margaret, and Nora. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.